Hello and welcome to episode number 477 of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host, Sean Garmer. With me, as usual, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
And well, of course, we can't get too excited about the year without there being bad news already. As we're looking forward to that developer direct later in the week, all that stuff. Here comes the reality of the industry still isn't at a great place. You got Meta laying off many workers and their various VR studios and closing two of them, leading us to question, is this another nail in the coffin for VR? And Ubisoft isn't too far behind as they're trying to get you excited for their games that are going to come out this year, but they keep laying off staff. Their own run-ins with possible union busting and some other stuff going on. So we'll get into all that. Plus, Mark played that Forbidden Solitaire demo. I got some more thoughts on Big Hops and Cassette Boy. I actually reviewed both of those games already. I'll put the link in the description. And we'll talk about all that and more, along with PlayStation news, right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get the housekeeping stuff out of the way here really quick. If you have watched us before, this is your first time or 100th time, we do appreciate you. We do the show live on Mondays at a varying time, but of course, that's where it helps if you subscribe to the YouTube channel or any of our other channels, or the Twitch channel, Kick, all that WTM number. You can know when we go live, and you hit that bell, all that follow. You'll know when Video Games to the Max is live, and you can watch live if you want to. You can just watch later on demand. You can also listen later on demand in the podcast, wherever it is that you like to listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, whatever little app that you use, we are there, and you can listen to us there. So, and what's nice, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, is you not only get what we do here, but if you like other things like anime or entertainment, movies, TV shows, we got you covered there too. As the anime folks have just wrapped up their end of the year stuff and have already started on 2026 with their winter premiere episode, and they just did another episode, I think today. So if you are wondering what's going on, what's hot with the anime as we enter another year for this season, they got you covered reviewing all the latest shows. So check them out, Otaku Cafe, whether it's on podcasts or on the channel. And of course, you can also check out Relative Broadcasting. They do tremendous stuff as well. They pretty much review any big movie that comes out that week they are reviewing. And sometimes they also go back and review old stuff. They're talking about the old Sports Night TV show.
I have that.
There you go. See, Mark knows what that's about. Also, the old War of the Roses, comparing the old movie to the new one that just came out last year. So plenty of reasons why to go subscribe to the channel. But, of course, let's go ahead and get into video games for this week, and we'll talk about the games we are playing. Mark, you're still not playing a whole lot, but you did get to try out this Forbidden Solitaire demo that came out this week.
It's made by the same guys who did Regency Solitaire and some other crap like Shadow Hand and some other stuff. It's all right. The demo's like, I don't know, half hour long, depending on how good you are at Solitaire. It's a lot of the same mechanics as like their past games, but it's kind of in the shell of like a 1990s. I wouldn't say FMV, but it has like FMV elements to it. But it has an overarching story of like, oh, this Forbidden Solitaire game existed and was like pulled down, or I wouldn't say got deleted, but is forbidden for a reason,
It
and
has a little bit of horror elements to it there.
yeah. So yeah, it's all right. The cinematic stuff is kind of funny or kind of goofy, but like in an endearing way. And so like the whole like 90s setup. The demo, like I can't go back in the demo. Like I hit the end of the demo and I can't like reset it, the reset progress.
Yeah.
Because I have some kind of questions about like more mechanics of the thing. But like when I hit go, it's just like, oh, you finished the demo. I'm like, yeah, I know. I want to replay it again. Or like
Oh, it doesn't
yeah.
actually let you just start it and play it again?
You can start it, but when you hit like continue, it just is like, oh, you're at like the final, or you're at like the final enemy in the demo.
Oh, okay. So you have to like, it doesn't like, it saves your progress, but it's not like you can just go
Yeah,
from
and there's no
there.
like,
You have to restart the whole thing again.
well, I can't restart it though. That's the thing. There's no option for like new game.
Oh, okay. Really? Wow.
I'm just kind of stuck. Or yeah, so like I'd like to I mean, I don't mind restarting the demo if I could, but I literally can't, or I can't figure out a way to do that. So
You'd have to like, I
yeah,
guess, delete the save or something probably.
I tried to look for it and I couldn't find it. I mean, I'm sure it's probably in the app folder in Steam somewhere, but I didn't want to go hunting around that much. But yeah, it's cool. I'll probably I won't review it because I'll probably be one of the people doing beta testing when it gets closer. So
Right.
that's a bit of a conflict of interest. But if you like solitaire or if you like the kind of like 90s aesthetic, it's cool.
Some places or some indie devs will let you choose one or the other. Like I had the same thing with Hermit and Pig. I got an email to like, hey, do you want to be part of the final playtest, or you just want to wait till the game comes out and just review it? And I was like, I'm just going to wait till the.
I mean, sure, but like also like
Yeah.
given the option, and I've had this before where the guy's like, hey, if you want to beta test it, we'll put your name in the credits. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So I'm in, I think, Ancient Enemy and the other Shadow Hand like solitaire game, like the credits are like beta tester. So yeah, why not?
That's nice.
Played a little more Vampire. It's still bad. It's funny now that like
I figured that was not going to get any better.
yeah, it's the funny thing is there's 3 time periods in the game. There's like present day. There's like I don't know how far back it is, like a month before present day, where like a different character, and then it's like the 1920s is like the third time period, and it's like, yo, you don't have enough interesting story for 1 time period, let alone 3. Like,
Right.
good luck with that. And last thing is I played a little more Majora's Ocarina of Time. That's still good. And I played a hidden object game called City Legends Trapped in Mirror.
Okay.
Object games. This is okay, except for the fact that it crashes every 20 minutes.
Sorry.
Something just drops.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was my TV remote, and not the like something we need for the recording.
Right. But yeah, like without fail, like it crashes like every 20 to 25 minutes. And it's like, this is weird. Like that it's so, is there some like RAM leak or something going on? But
Right.
it's a type of story, of a hidden object game. But what about you?
There's a pretty high profile indie, I think it's like Lost and Found Company or something like that, coming pretty soon. It's a hidden object game that I was like, I wonder if Mark knows about this. He likes those games.
Nope.
But yeah, so I had every intention of starting to play Escape from Ever After, which is an indie RPG that is modeled after Paper Mario. But I could not start it today because today was terrible at work. And, and I had to start every opening moment that I had. It was either, put news in and do all the stuff for this. And I was like, we can't start really late. just for me to like play an hour of this game. So I'll just play it as soon as we finish doing this, because the game comes out on Friday and I gotta, meet the embargo. But
Right.
I did fully review both Big Hops and Cassette Boy within the last time we did the show. I think I submitted Big Hops like Monday before I left my house. And then Saturday night, really late, I submitted Cassette Boy as well. And then I posted on Sunday. So I ended up giving Big Hops a 9. Really love that game. And I think it's going to be, I saw some people, I think they're doing, it's got to be like clickbait. I'm joking with my friend Lewis here, Andres Plays, who said he was going to play around with clickbait headlines, but I think he's being honest about how Big Hops might be giving Mario a run for their money. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. This has definitely got some kinks that's got to work out. There's parts of the platforming that still kind of feel a bit stilted or whatever, but it's fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't get through the whole thing yet. I plan to eventually, keep going with it, little by little as time goes on. But it's, the cute mascot, Hops, and his adventures and all the different. I love being able to use all the different veggies and make different ways to get across where you need to and stuff like that. That's great. And yeah, it's my first review of the year. I think indies looking at just what's coming out this month already, not even looking at this whole year. I think this year, maybe you're not going to have the big names per se. But I think very much like last year, you're going to have a lot of these indies come into the space and be pushing up for that game of the year, especially I think if Grand Theft Auto 6 doesn't come out again, you're going to have another void, this year, and you don't have the at least for right now, right? We don't know which one's going to surprise us. We don't have that clear obscure that everybody knows is coming. So it's like this is going to be an interesting year. I think possibly even more interesting than last year. Cassette Boy I talked about it last week too. I actually warmed up to it a lot more because I got to play more, but it's actually not that long of a game. You could, if you kind of know what you're doing, you could beat the game in like 4 hours. Yeah. But again, you like old Game Boy Zeldas. This is right there. It's got the whole same aesthetic, everything. What I kind of got hung up on, I think I talked about last week, was the whole puzzle aesthetic of moving the screen around. And I kind of figured it out after a while. Like I banged my head against the wall, actually restarted my save, and then I kind of like retraced my steps, and I was like, oh, that's what it is. It literally means you have to make anything that you need to progress invisible. And I figured out, I was like, oh, I have to stand on the switch and then move it around so you can't see it. And then I can go back to where I need to go. And then I was like, oh, okay, now there's still some stuff that's not easy to figure out, or some that like because the colors are all that, the Game Boy shade of green, sometimes where the colors kind of all like run together and you're like, am I on the top part of this or I'm on the bottom part of this? Like it's a little bit hard to figure out. So that makes it a little bit obtuse. And there's times where you're very much in like the old Zeldas where, if you kind of don't know where you're going, you can get lost. So there's that part of it.
It's funny. I played Ocarina of Time, and after I beat the first fire area, they're like, "Oh, go to the Zora area," and I don't remember that area that is. And I went to Lake Hylia, and it's like, "No, it's not there." And I completely got turned around.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, right, it's this other pathway that they don't explain."
Yeah, it's like, oh, I completely forgot about this other one because I've been way over here. It's like,
should I just be following a guide?
Right? Yeah, it feels like you have to eventually, right? That's the one thing about reviewing stuff. We don't get guides, so the game's already out. So it's like I can't look up anything. I kind of just have to go with it. But I did give it an 8 at the end of the day. I enjoy the game. I think it's a great game. The people that are like really into puzzles and whatnot, I think you're gonna like it a lot more than maybe folks that like are trying to look at it for like the Zelda or RPG aspects of it. But there's a little bit of something there for everybody. And for being a solo dev game, I think it was really well done. So it's got a lot more on my plate here that I got to play within the next couple weeks. So we'll see. I already have. I know I'm playing Escape from Ever After. I have 3 other games I can't talk about lined up. And then I don't know if Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is going to appear on launch day or not. So we'll see when that happens. Square has a tendency of like, hey, the day before the game's supposed to come out, oh yeah, you want your code now? Like,
right?
Yeah, let me go play this 100-hour RPG in like 3 days. That's not going to happen. So especially Dragon Quest VII, which is really long, regardless of how much they cut out of it. So we'll see. I still probably going to end up playing that demo just to see, because I heard a lot of good information about the demo from there. But all right. Let's go ahead and get into the news, which is, like I said, a lot of not happy news, but you know, sometimes we got to talk about that. So, we'll bookend it here. Start off with Meta and their decision here, kind of out of nowhere. It felt like it's not like somebody was just hinting at. I think it was like the day before there was already kind of some hints about, oh, it's this studio, and then it wound up being that, of course, Reality Labs, which is the group that houses the Meta Oculus Studios, they have closed Twisted Pixel and Sanzaru Games. Twisted Pixel just came out with that Deadpool VR game, which I'm sure it didn't do gangbusters, but I'm sure it did fine. But of course, you're Meta and you're trying to spend money, just like Microsoft, right? They're trying to spend money on AI right now, and everything's going, they have to figure out how to save money somewhere else. So very much like Microsoft, which I'm pretty sure I will be very shocked if this developer direct happens and then within the next week they don't have layoffs again.
Right.
So get ready for that too. Even though Microsoft keeps getting really, really bad news about their AI stuff. So, Google, I think Apple just chose Google over them for their AI stuff in the iPhones. So that's not great for them either. But either way, not to make this about a different company. Sanzaru, of course, is the team that made the Asgard's Wrath 1 and 2, which are probably, when you talk about like the games that I saw, like Beat Saber and stuff like that, like when you talk about games that are for the gamer that got a lot of hype and whatever, especially Asgard's Wrath 2, that was like up for Game of the Year talk at one point. And they killed that studio. Of course, they've also made Sly Cooper's and other games. They made Sly Cooper 4 and other games as well that were not VR related. So that really sucks to see that studio go down. Twisted Pixel also has made other classic games as well. So Meta closing down two of their big studios. There was talk about whether or not they had closed Camouflage, which is the one that made the Batman Arkham Shadow that a lot of people liked. But they were able to confirm that they did not close them, but they did issue layoffs for that studio. And also they may have also canceled the Harry Potter VR game that was never, I think, officially announced, but it was like, kind of known that it was in development. So
yeah.
Where do you think this puts? I mean, we know where PlayStation's at with VR. Now we know where Meta's at with VR. Valve still has the Steam frame coming, and they announced some information about they're going to try to make it very easy for the VR devs to make their game for the Steam frame. They're going to do all the back end stuff as long as Valve, or as long as the developer picks one version and says that's the version we're rolling with. Do you think Valve has a shot of like actually doing something with Steam Frame now that it feels like Meta has taken a backseat? And also Sony is taking a backseat as well? Or do you think this is just kind of like we're just counting the days until we hear about VR gaming kind of being in the dredges of the bottom?
I mean, I think we're already kind of past that. Like, I was still really shocked that Steam announced like the Steam Frame at all, because most reports about like the Oculus Rift or people buy it, and even like myself and even you, when you bought the PSVR, you used it for like a day or two, or maybe a week or two, and then pack it away and never think about it again. And then these developers shutting down, or being shut down rather, is like a huge blow, because they were kind of, I wouldn't say AAA, but they were like the only guys doing like higher level games. Like I'm not a huge, I never really knew who Sanzaru was, or I never heard of those games, but like Twisted Pixel was at one point a pretty good developer,
Yeah.
but they got enmeshed in VR, and then they also got enmeshed in all the Microsoft stuff. Like when they got acquired by Microsoft, it wasn't great. And
yeah, they were making them do like Connect
games
and whatnot.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And like Wavy Tube Man Chronicles and Gunstringer weren't like terrible, but they weren't quite as revered as Missplosion Man,
Yeah, Missplosion Man. Local Cycle was pretty decent.
That reviewed pretty badly. I mean, the problem is like a lot of their games had like really neat ideas, but like not a lot of gameplay mechanics to support it. Like I remember like Comic Jumper not being great either.
They made them all an early Xbox Live Arcade game too.
But yeah, I think I think Steam Frame will allow for more developers to do VR stuff if they want to, but like I don't think there's a big enough market. And the Steam Frame is not going to be cheap either. It ain't going to be some $200 headset. So yeah, like where is the space, or like who's going to invest in this ecosystem at all?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like,
and the other funny thing is, I doubt you talked about this, but I guess some dude made like a VR mod for Cyberpunk that CD Projekt Red just shut down. And I said,
and then he was sitting there asking CD Projekt Red if they would consider making a Cyberpunk VR.
Yeah. And I said, why would you shut that? Like, if CD Projekt Red had any brains, they'd just buy the mod and just release it themselves, or because it would get people to buy the game, possibly, or at least provide like more functionality in the game. But no.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about protecting their IP, and they didn't do it, so
yeah. But like I think like you said, the PSVR 2 is never really done well, or it doesn't seem like it.
Sony has not really touted that thing at all. I mean,
they made like the one Horizon game, and that was about it.
Well, and then not only that, it's like the games that come out for it now have to like be double, right? Like it has to be the games that get promoted by them as being for VR are the ones that are like, oh, this is also on regular PS5.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this just has like a VR mode, or whatever.
Yeah, like Tides of Tomorrow, right? It just got announced that they delayed it till April 22nd earlier today. That's being touted as a big, VR title, but it's also playable without VR. So, it's just, unfortunately, look, I know there's a lot of people that VR has its defenders and has its people that are super into it and all that stuff, but I don't like. It's just difficult. It's difficult to make people want to sit there for that long with that thing on your head and play. I think it's a great party device.
Right.
Like, but I think as a single player thing, it's not a preferred way to play. I think it's like the Wii to me. Like, that was fun for its time, but I don't want to go back to that at all ever again.
No,
I
mean, I would say the Wii still has it's. I mean, the Wii is actually still popular. Like,
right.
It's funny that Wii.
But you can do that with phone games now too. It's not, you don't need the Wii to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
The funny thing about like VR to me is like, still the number one game on VR is Beat Saber, a game that came out a decade or 7 years ago, and it's like there's nothing better since then. Like, what does that tell you about the ecosystem of this thing?
And didn't they say they were going to stop doing development for
I think it was
PSVR 2 or and PSVR 1? Yeah,
right. Yeah, like they've kind of closed like older support for releases, but like I think they're still making shit for like the Quest 3 and stuff. But
now that you can hook the PSVR 2 up to the PC, I think that makes it to where you could still technically use it.
Yeah.
It's just, look, I am sure that within the community there are games that people enjoy. It's not the big heavy hitters. It's very much the same as we're seeing with gaming in general. It is the more kind of niche games, the indie games, not the underrated games that are kind of like big in that space. But again, and I think that's fair for it to continue to exist. I don't want that to go away. I want that to keep thriving, in its space. But I think that time of, I don't think we're ever, we can keep getting to that point. I don't think we're gonna get to the Ready Player One.
Not until like the thing is like super light, where it's based.
Yeah.
It literally is just like putting like on a pair of goggles.
Now, I would say maybe if this idea that the big tech companies want to do, which is they want to eventually get to the point where hardware is so expensive that you don't own a laptop, you rent a laptop from somebody, or you rent it from the cloud, and that is your entire device is on the cloud. So therefore, you have to use them even more, which I hope we never get to that point because that's really bad. We already have NVIDIA GeForce trying to find other ways to limit how many hours you play and all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Look, I hate it for the devs. It's never good for anybody to lose a job, especially Sanzaru and Twisted Pixel, two devs that have done some great work in the past. I wonder if Valve will try to snap them up to do something for them, or just be like, hey, you want to keep making games, do it, bring it over to the Steam frame.
They might do the second option, but they're not Valve was never a big acquirer of studios necessarily.
And there technically is apparently still a Arkham Shadow sequel being worked on. So it's not like all the games are going away. It's just when you talk about two of your bigger studios are being closed, it's not a great thing when Meta is not Microsoft and they're not a gaming company,
right?
Or have a gaming division within them. That it is alarming because how much would it take for them to just close the other studios and just do a Google and get out of everything?
Meta's only lost like $77 billion in the metaverse, so
yeah. We'll see how that goes there for them. Just some other things here before we get into the Ubisoft talk at the end. It has been revealed by Paul Tassi on social media that the High Guard devs, the High Guard team, whoever's in charge of paying money for the spot at the Game Awards, did not pay to be the final game shown. They just paid to have a trailer. Jeff Keighley chose to make them the last game because he really enjoyed what he played, apparently, which I feel like, with as much as we wanted to give Jeff a bunch of applause for reading the room and talking about the layoffs at studios and talking about how indies are doing well and all this stuff, it's like, shouldn't you know the hardcore gaming community is going to be vocal and trash this game if you put it where you put it? Like, I feel like Jeff deserves some smack on that.
I don't think he has like the pulse of gaming, to be honest. That's like the first thing. But I think it drummed up interest in the game, but like all the bad interest, like if the trailer had just been in the middle of the show, no one would have cared. And
right, but it wouldn't have the vitriol to the point where I feel like
that's
that
what I said
bad
that's what I mean by like
so...
the bad interest, you know, that's what it drummed up.
Yeah, because unless the game's going to get delayed, it's supposed to come out in like
2 weeks.
a couple, 2 weeks, and you should have been showing more right now. You should have been having more trailers. You should have had a play test. You should have had something. And
I mean,
yeah,
it's obviously not the same scale or size, but it reminded me of the that Recreation game. Like, it just kind of came out of nowhere, or like they didn't announce it really, or like have a ton of trailers or gameplay session, like betas or anything. It's just like, hey, it's out now. It's like, what about promotion? Like, to get people into it, or to even like tell people it's out. Because if Highguard didn't have that one trailer, no one would know about it at all.
Right, but I feel like I think we could talk about it in a different way. If it would have just been in the middle of the show and then that's it, right? But the problem is that you promoted it the way you did. You made it seem like it was this big deal with the former devs of this and that and whatever, and it's like, oh man, you're just doing this team a disservice so badly. I
think that this team though is somewhat at fault. Like they should have stepped up and said, hey, we don't want to be the last game of the show. Like,
I mean, but I don't know that Jeff told them that they were going to until it was already done and dusted and they can't do anything about it. If he told them at all, right?
If he didn't tell them, I would say that's a more serious problem.
Well, but I mean, I can kind of see it from the perspective of, if you're the dev, you're looking at it like, oh man, we're going to be the one more thing. Like, people are going to be talking about us, all that stuff. And maybe you don't think about the negative right then, but that's again where I say Jeff should have known better, where the dev's just happy that they're getting that spot. And, it is what it is. Look, it already happened. It's just, if this is true and Wildlight had nothing to do with why they were in that spot, it's not a great look,
Right. But like, I don't see like Jeff Keighley as like this arbiter of quality at all either. Like, considering a lot of the stuff that's on those shows, it's like, what?
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't really get to like, I don't know that he gets to turn down a lot of stuff. Like, if you're paying a lot of money, you're not going to say no. Like, the whole thing is to generate revenue for the next year.
Right.
All that. So I don't blame him necessarily if he has to show you some. I do feel like this year, this past year, they did a much better job of like, let's not have 5 of the same game all run after each other. And it felt like there was a lot more curation done than we've seen sometimes in past years.
Sure.
He didn't have the heavy hitters like that we've seen, I think, in some other years. Kind of had to do with what he had. But yeah, just an interesting thing that kind of came out this week that we'll see. If we actually ever get confirmation on that or not.
Right.
PlayStation also had some news of their own here. They revealed the PS Plus Extra and Premium games that are coming to you as of today, tomorrow, whenever it is that you're watching this on January 20th. Very much like on Xbox Game Pass, you can get Resident Evil Village. Get yourself hyped for Resident Evil Requiem if you haven't played Village yet and don't want to spend a bunch of money on it, you can just get a 1 month of PS Plus Extra and play that instead. You can also play in another amazing game, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Although I would say if you haven't played at least Like a Dragon 7, I don't know that there's not going to be a lot there for you as far as the story, but it's still a fun game. Expedition is a Mud Runner game. Marc can attest to
Yep, that's all right.
enjoying this game here. Darkest Dungeon 2, A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, which I've heard is not that bad. Art of Rally, The Exit 8, and neat little indie game, A Little to the Left, all joining the PS Plus Extra. And then the first Ridge Racer is coming to the premium tier if you have that. So,
right,
pretty neat there. Also, it was leaked first, but then Bungie quickly did not let that sit there. They announced it themselves. Marathon now has an official release date. It is March 5th. They actually delayed the latest DLC or update for Destiny 2 to make sure that Marathon had clear runway to not be, eaten up by their own game there. But
yeah,
hey, they announced us a pre-order for it. They announced a cool-looking DualSense controller, I thought, and a Pulse Elites as well. I don't know. Did you see those? What do you think?
I just had the controller. I thought it looked kind of too busy, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, I like the colors and
Right.
It's decent.
But like having like the little icons like over like next to the buttons, I'm like, what? Like, you don't need this.
It seemed very reminiscent of like the Starfield
Yeah.
Controllers and stuff like that. So there's that kind of thought to it as well. A lot of different pre-orders available for the people that want to go look at that. They have a deluxe edition, all that stuff. So if you're excited about Marathon, you definitely at least it's coming out pretty soon. You don't have to keep waiting. So there's that for you there. Also, Nioh 3's demo, which this is not the first time Nioh 3's had a demo. This is now the second demo. I don't know if it's the same demo again or a different version of it, but it will drop on January 29th for PlayStation 5. So if you're looking forward to Nioh 3, then, go check out this demo and you try it out for yourself and decide if you want to buy it.
Yeah.
Big news is that the Amazon TV show has its Kratos, and that is
Not
Ryan.
a war TV show.
So the Amazon God of War TV show has its Kratos. Of course, this is people probably know him as OP from Sons of Anarchy. He also played Thor. He did the voice of Thor in Ragnarok as well. It's his only video game credit, by the way. So, yeah. I mean, he kind of looks the part. He's, he's not 6'10" or whatever, but I think they can make it work.
I mean, Ryan Hurst is kind of a big dude. I think he's like 6'2" at least.
He's 6'6", so he's not.
Okay,
he's
so
not
yeah.
tiny.
I don't know. Yeah, I think this is a good pick, a reasonably good pick. I saw that stupid Kotaku article. I think it was Kotaku, or like, I'm worried about the casting, and it was like, oh, the past Kratos actors have been African American men, and it's like, yeah, they were also. It was also motion capture. Like they weren't. It wasn't live action.
I mean, so would you rather them basically have the African American man, and then you're gonna white him up with all the makeup and all the paint,
right?
Or you want to just, it's like,
I mean, they're still gonna white this guy up, but I think it's a really good choice. Sure.
And let's not play around. Come on, like, let's be honest here for a second. They had the African American voice, but they wanted to portray him as a white guy. Okay,
right.
he had white children. Is what there's no like mixed race in Atreus,
Right.
or whatever. It's not like they were trying to portray I can't remember his name now, Chris, the voice actor. It's not like they were trying to
Christopher Judge.
Yeah, it's not like they were trying to portray Christopher Judge's actual ethnicity in the character, okay? You know, so, and it's also, he comes from a Greek lineage. Like, this is a different deal. Like, let's not, I'm all for having different ethnicities and whatever in games. As somebody that's Latino, I love when there's Latino developers and all that kind of stuff, big champion of all that. Just, I think, let's not make race a thing when it doesn't need to be.
Right.
It doesn't make sense when you're going to put a bunch of makeup on him and be a different, it just doesn't,
The only two casting things I would say is the only other guy I would actually be okay with casting, and they wouldn't cast him because, of course, would be Pablo Schreiber. And I don't know if you know who that is, but he was Master Chief in the Halo show.
Yeah, that's
like, he would have been a good choice actually. Also,
I think people don't want.
Well, they wouldn't cast him because of Master Chief, obviously.
Yeah.
And they announced, I think it's Teresa Palmer
is going to do Sif,
yeah.
Phoebe.
The only actress I kind of want for this show is, her name is Danielle Basutti. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Because she did Freya in the games.
Yeah, and they haven't cast Freya yet, so that's possible.
And she looks like Freya, or like they didn't really do much in the game, so she'd be good, I think. But yeah, otherwise I'm pretty happy. Like, I think Amazon has a slightly better track record for like video game adaptations.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched the most recent episode, but I've been keeping up with season 2 of Fallout.
Yeah, so have I. Yeah,
I've been enjoying it. Yeah, and they nailed the job of most of the actors and actresses that they chose. So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I think you have to kind of give them faith on that.
Yep.
So far, and we'll see. I think it's also like I need to see what Ryan Hurst looks like as Kratos. Like, show me some pictures, show me a trailer or something, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, big decisions there for this show here. Sony also made another kind of decision, one that people would say they should have been making a long time ago, and they should still continue to make, because this ain't the only ones. There's plenty of this. They have delisted over 1,000 games from the PSN store from one developer. This was, of course, spotted by Game Rant. This T Games, Chi Games. I don't know how you.
I would say Thigh Games, maybe.
Thigh Games, maybe. They make a bunch of these jumping games that are obvious, like achievement grabs or whatever, and they just keep making the same game over and over and over, and this kind of asset flip or whatever the heck it is that they do with it, and it's terrible, right? And honestly, I'm so happy that Sony just took them off the store. Just, can you please keep doing it? Can you take off all the copycats?
Right.
Remember when was Supermarket Simulator became big? You had like 5 different supermarket simulators that were on the PlayStation Store, and none of them were the real actual Supermarket Simulator.
Right.
But they were making money off of the fact that some people thought that they were. And
yeah, it's all like weird bootlegs and stuff, or yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I hope this is a step in the right direction. I mean, it's a little bit too late. But I guess better than never, right? But it's still like, please just keep looking into this. Remove more and more of this crap off the store, because it doesn't help the indies that want to be seen. And hey, like sometimes you have a really good indie that comes out for like $5, $10, and you got people sitting here buying 5 of these slop games because they're sitting there trying to tell you how you're going to get some cheap achievement, trophies, and I just find it so stupid, But whatever. Steam also needs to do this as well, but that's another problem for another day. Honestly,
I'm surprised you didn't mention.
Go ahead.
I don't even get it in the doc, but the Sophie Turner pick from Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah. Also, I mean,
because that's another Amazon show.
Yeah, I mean,
but the usual incel crowd isn't happy.
Lord.
I think so. It's fine.
Didn't help themselves either, of course, having to cast the incel crowd some more. It's like,
well, I saw some people complaining like, oh, it's like she's too woke. And I said, what are you talking about? Like, she's a white British lady. What do you think the character is? A white British lady, I
was like, oh, she has different colored hair. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
it's more like, the usual complaint is like, oh, her boobs aren't big enough, and it's like, that's not.
Who cares, man?
Part of a character.
It's the same thing with the Netflix, the One Piece Netflix show.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for her when they get to if they ever get to the point where they do the whole time skip.
Yeah.
You can't make a live action person grow boobs. I mean, they could,
right?
But they're not gonna do that. It's just,
yeah.
But it was a complaint from the beginning of like, oh, whatever. It's like, dude, come on. It's an anime. Like, it's, like.
That was also a complaint about the Cowboy Bebop live action show that the
actress, that's just, don't want to feed those people that are just, you can't, they ain't going to be able to make them happy with nothing. And it's just people that are just like, yo, you got to be realistic. Okay.
Yeah.
But, look, I think that's cool. Sophie Turner's a big name, so she could draw eyes to the Tomb Raider show.
Yeah.
Let's see if it actually is good, which that's the important part. So far, Amazon has nailed it with Fallout, but obviously we also got Todd Howard and some other important people involved.
Yeah, to me, it's less about like who's cast and more about like who's actually making it.
Yeah, like I wonder is I can't think of his name right now. Not Jaffe, the one that did the current ones.
Not Neil Druckmann.
No, Santa Monica Studio.
Corey Barlog.
Yeah, is Corey Barlog involved in this at all?
Right.
Or even the guy that he handed it off to are one of them involved? That would be interesting to know if how involved is Sony in like saying yes and no to things and whatnot, because that matters, right? Last of Us had the help of Neil Druckmann to be there and kind of shepherd the show. So it'll be interesting to see how they do with this. And it's also kind of interesting because it's like some people were talking about like the casting kind of shows that maybe they're not going to go from the beginning of game 1 of the new series to the end of game 2, that they're going to kind of do their own thing. Are you okay with that? Or
for Fallout or Last of Us?
For God of War, sorry.
Oh, sure, I guess. They God of War's a little more open, or it depends what they want to do. So,
yeah, I think I'm in that camp of like, let them do what they want, as long as they don't bastardize what's there.
Yeah.
You can kind of go in a different direction if you want with some things, right?
That was a little problem with the Last of Us, is they kind of burned through the first game with the first season, and the second game doesn't support, and it doesn't have enough material for the second season, let alone a third.
Yeah.
So,
and
there's a problem.
And it felt like there was a drop in quality as well. Right?
Yeah.
So that also didn't help things. And I think if you're like beholden to, we've got to tell the story the same way, I think it also kind of like, well, do we really want to see the story twice?
Right. I mean, I could just play the game, or like.
Yeah. But we'll see what ends up happening with that when we actually finally get some information on it, aside from just kind of like some PR statements and whatnot.
Right.
Speaking of something that leaked, Forza Horizon 6 may have had its release date leaked. I guess we'll find out probably in a couple of days if it's true or not. But the
I'm
release
betting
date
it is.
probably most
from
likely
the game.
But the screenshot didn't necessarily look like totally legit, but it was within the Forza Horizon. It's like an ad that pops up within Forza Horizon 5. So
Right.
yeah, there is that. It's May 19th is the actual release date. May 15th if you get the play 4 days early access thing. You can get a car pass, different car packs. There's going to be 2 expansions apparently, and also if you pre-order, you get a Ferrari J50, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, May sounds good to you?
Sure. I probably won't get it because it probably won't be on PS5. At least that
Yeah,
long.
it won't be on PS5 probably till I would say the holidays. I imagine.
And
be a gap
the
there.
past Forza games on PC haven't exactly been great.
Yeah,
at least for me.
It's probably going to take a lot of beef to run that thing, I'd imagine.
Right.
But we'll see if that's actually gets revealed. It's going to be interesting also, what that means for Fable. Does that mean Fable comes out like in the summer then, or I thought maybe Forza was going to come out earlier, like March or April. So
I'm betting Fable is going to be an October game.
You think so? I feel like if they're bringing it into the developer direct, it's coming out before October because you still have, Halo November for sure, and then whatever Gears is doing.
It could be September, but I don't think.
Yeah.
I still think Fable is a long way off, unfortunately, for some reason.
We'll see. They said that it's going to be a deep dive, so we'll see how much time they did it. They only announced 3 games, so maybe they are going to give it like 30 minutes or something,
right?
To show off everything. Who knows? But Fable was an internal Microsoft studio, made by an internal Microsoft studio, and continued to do that as they, they're made by Playground Games. But Microsoft did make that acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and some would say that maybe it hasn't panned out for them yet, as far as like what they wanted it to do, as Call of Duty Black Ops 7 has taken a bit of a tumble this year. And Bobby Kotick appeared once again in the news after he's been like silent for a while. Of course, he has that lawsuit that was brought against him by a Swedish pension fund, Sjunde AP Fonden. And they are basically alleging that they took less. They did not take the best value that could have been available for Activision Blizzard because Bobby Kotick was trying to hurry up and make a sale so that it could hide his sexual assault claims and all the bad stuff happening in Activision Blizzard around the same time. Right. I don't think that they're necessarily totally wrong in that. I'm sure there's a little bit of that in there.
Yeah, but also, like, if the sexual assault claims against him and the greater company went on for much longer, it would have devalued the company more.
Yeah, that too. And also, because of this drop, he feels like he is right because look at what's happening. Call of Duty has a 60% drop compared to last year, and that makes him correct, he says, because the FTC's argument was that there would be a lack of competition due to Call of Duty being owned by a console maker, which has obviously been proven false with Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders and other games have kind of come up against it. And he says also look at what consoles are doing, right? Like the whole drop in console sales and that kind of thing.
Right.
That has also shown why he was right in making the sale, because if he would have waited longer, it wouldn't have been as valuable. I feel like he's right in that. Like, after the allegations and all that stuff came out, they had to sell. It's like, yes, there is a little bit of, they wanted to hide that stuff. They wanted to make it about the sale. They wanted to make it about the Microsoft now. They wanted to, I totally get it. But like you said, Mark, if you don't sell right then, yes, you're going to make money with Call of Duty. You'll be fine. Right?
Well, they didn't necessarily have to sell. They just had to get rid of him, and that was never going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So he's also protecting himself, right? He wanted to make sure he got money. So,
right.
He knew he was going to be out. Like, either way. I feel like this is going to end up this is going to get it dropped, I feel like.
Or they'll just settle quietly, or,
Yeah, exactly. That too. That is probably the option that will happen.
Right.
So just settle with that. And then really quickly, because of that, this is a Sony Pictures conjunction with Nintendo, which is still weird to believe sometimes, Sony and Nintendo working together on the Legend of Zelda movie. That is, of course, part of that Netflix deal that they just signed not too long ago. That would make it to where The Legend of Zelda will appear on Netflix after it gets done with its run on video on demand and in theaters. So, hey, if you got Netflix in 2 years still,
right,
or a year later or whatever,
if the world still exists,
yeah, if the world still exists, if we aren't involved in World War III, we'll see. So you can watch The Legend of Zelda movie on Netflix. And I guess we should go ahead and get into this Ubisoft stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like go through all the stuff, and then we can kind of like talk about it. So the major story, I feel like, is that obviously you had the Vince Zampella unfortunate passing. This leaves a big hole for EA, a huge hole, you can say. You have a long time, we're talking about a long time executive producer, figurehead at Ubisoft, Julian Gerighty, who has left the Division franchise and is now going to head up the Battlefield Studios, which was what Vince Zampella was doing. And, he kind of let everybody know, look, the Division isn't in good hands. There's rumors about a Definitive Edition, the first game, coming at some point. Division 3 is in development, even though Ubisoft has never really announced it. But he talked about it in that New Game Plus showcase. He said that the Division 3 is coming along fine. So they acknowledge it, even though Ubisoft, again, has not officially announced that game. And then, now he's off to EA, just kind of like in the night. But he was there with Ubisoft for 27 years. That's a long time to be with one company. He worked on the Division. He worked on Star Wars Outlaws. He's been at Ubisoft since 1999. Then went on to work with Massive, of course, when Ubisoft acquired them. So, yeah, that's a lot. You got Alexis Cote, who, of course, is the guy that was let go after the Vantage Studios thing. He was the head of the franchise, head of Assassin's Creed, essentially. He has sued Ubisoft for $1.3 million whatever, Canadian dollars or just dollars.
Like $9 in American.
But apparently the lawsuit states that in September, the position to lead a creative house with that stuff outlines was offered. After lengthy negotiations, Ubisoft reportedly asked him to make a decision on the changes, to which Cote formally demanded that the company pay him severance. In response, Ubisoft reportedly told him not to show up for work as planned on October 13th and to continue his reflection period until the company responds to his formal notice. Ubisoft then announced via press release that internal emails that Cote was leaving his position voluntarily to explore new opportunities. So basically just found a way to not have to pay him severance. Which, yeah, if I was Cote, I'd be suing for that too. I don't blame him at all.
Right.
Then you got, of course, this was last week. Ubisoft shut down their Canadian Halifax, Nova Scotia studio, just kind of like out of nowhere. And then news came out that they were pulling a little bit of a rock star, and there was a significant amount, 61 of 71 employees of that studio were looking into becoming a union, and then all of a sudden they cancel it. They kill the studio. The CWA, the Canadians Workers Association, filed like a grievance, essentially, trying to kind of basically state that, they did this wrong. Ubisoft came to the table with nothing, no documentation proving financial distress, no plan to find work at other Ubisoft operations for the people, or increase severance. Basically, they had no plan as to why they were closing the studio, just that they were closing it.
All right.
Kind of, I don't know. Kind of makes you think, is it really about y'all needed to close it, or is it about stopping the unionization, Ubisoft also laid off 55 employees at Massive and at the Stockholm studio as well. This is after their voluntary leave program was done. So the upcoming layoffs are not related to individual performance or recent deliveries or quality of work or whatever. It's forward-looking and structural. Yeah. They also laid off 29 people at the Abu Dhabi studio last year as well. They're just kind of reporting it now. And then this comes amid other stuff that's going on with them, right? Where they're going to do up 60 FPS updates for 3 Far Cry games. You have the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake that is in the ether at some point going to come out. Just they're like going to shadow drop it whenever, and not really kind of like talking about it much. Yeah, the Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake that everybody and their mother knows about, but they don't ever announce. You have the various TV shows that they're doing. You have the Assassin's Creed Hexy thing. You have other Far Cry 7 is out there. So they have games that people should be sort of excited about. These Shadows did really well last year, but then you got all this stuff, and it's like Ubisoft in a nutshell. They can't get out of their own way.
Yep.
When But what do you think about all this?
It's a sign of a healthy company headed up by strong leadership right there.
I mean, this is part of the whole why they did the Vantage Studios thing. Right? Because eventually this was going to allow them to start cutting staff and like, well, hey, our big games are not on Ubisoft anymore, so we don't need all of these people.
Right.
We don't need all of these studios. They have a ridiculous amount of studios. It's incredible the amount of studios that this company has.
I mean,
you feel like this is just going to be a story of this year for them? We're just going to keep seeing them announce layoffs.
Right.
Like,
I mean, it's a consequence of them being too big, but
Yeah.
also like a lot of their games don't sell well, or aren't seen as successes.
well, I mean, when you only really have like one game a year now, essentially, that you're making,
Yeah,
and
like
you
I
know,
mean, you said Shadows did okay, but did it really? Because they canceled that second DLC that they were planning on.
yeah,
About the season pass.
I mean, it did fine, right? It, like what wasn't it
Yeah.
like the second biggest launch for Assassin's Creed
Right.
in history or whatnot? Like, it's so. Did it do like the bonkers numbers that Ubisoft probably needed to do? No.
Right.
But I mean, you also have crazy expectations for that.
I mean, also, I think, especially Ubisoft, they're more focused on like cosmetics and microtransactions to the detriment of the games. So
Right.
people don't want to buy Ubisoft games necessarily because they just get hit over the head with all this bullshit.
No, you're right about that.
I mean, especially like Assassin's Creed. Like they don't really do it in Far Cry, I don't think. I mean, because there's not cosmetics except for like weapon skins, and who cares? But Assassin's Creed does it.
Well, they're gonna
Outlaws did it.
remember they're making that second multiplayer only Far Cry. That is
Right.
probably gonna have all that stuff. So
It's just gonna be like weapon skins because you can't do like, oh, I'm playing as, Ezio from Assassin's Creed because it'll just be a first person game.
yeah,
And Call of Duty does it, but no one really cares. I mean, it's so
no,
time-consuming.
people complain about it all the time,
Right.
but then they buy the skins, which is hilarious.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I see this isn't related necessarily, but do you see that GameStop just closed like 400 stores?
yeah,
Including basically like my childhood store back in the day. That
Oh,
store
really?
has been there for 33 years. It used to be a Funko Land, for God's sakes. And yeah, they just closed it. And so now there's like a gap in like coverage for that area because you can't, buy games anywhere else really. But
right.
GameStop is like, oh, we're closing stores to boost profitability. It's like, you still need stores to buy stuff at. Like
Well, apparently the CEO needs to make like a certain amount of stock or whatever it is.
He needs to get his bonus. So fuck everyone
Yeah.
else apparently. But yeah, I don't think Ubisoft is doing great. I mean, I don't think anyone thinks that, and it's a shame. But so many of it is self-inflicted that you can't help but go like they deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, Rainbow Six Siege is helping like and even then they've gone through the hacks that they
Right.
went through. They just kind of got that under control not too long ago. And they're having to go reverse all of the giving players extra money and stuff like that. And so like their cash cow got annihilated a little bit, even though I'm sure that there's still people playing that game. The Division seems to be going back up somewhat. We'll see what happens now that Gerighty has left.
Yeah.
Well, also, Battlefield's player numbers have gone down, and they've had a delay. I think the big update they were going to do for Battlefield 6, they had to delay that.
Well, that's EA, not Ubisoft, but yeah.
Right. No, what I'm saying is like Gerighty is walking into that.
Yeah.
He's walking into Battlefield is not in the big place that it was before. It is now lowered numbers. Now he's got to figure out how to right that ship.
Right.
And supposedly he has left the division in good hands. That's what he says. As Division 3 is supposed to, at some point, get announced and maybe come out this year. Who knows? Or maybe come out early next year. Well, we'll see. They still have stuff that's like, what is happening with Beyond Good and Evil 2? Is that just
gonna that's gone.
No, they said they restarted that thing like about 3 or 4 times, that they're still working on that, supposedly. Right. So
why bother? I mean, why bother? Because at this point, even if that game came out tomorrow and was like the best game ever, they wouldn't sell enough copies to make it worthwhile.
Well,
No one
probably.
cares.
You're not wrong with that about that. There is that aspect to it, right? They are kind of like building back up their franchises, right? We don't know when Splinter Cell is going to come out, but that the Netflix show got some buzz, right? Like I mentioned, the Division's doing well. They've been doing mixed things with Prince of Persia. You have, they're working on a new Rayman remake, reboot, whatever. So you got that Far Cry 7, all the different Assassin's Creeds that are going on over there. So it feels like they're trying to get themselves back on the right track. It's just, will any of this matter by the time we get to these games actually releasing? Is I think what the important part is for Ubisoft is like, is this so far down? Are you looking so far down the barrel at all this stuff you're having to like bring back to create interest in your whatever's left of your brand? That are people going to care at the end of the day? Are people going to care that a Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake exists? Are people going to? I think a lot more people are going to care about the Black Flag remake, but is that going to sell enough copies to?
Well, probably not, especially with how they're dissecting it and making it worse.
Yeah. But I mean, that's how Ubisoft starts the year, and a bunch of looming. We'll see what happens, kind of things, and some bad news with, unfortunately, people having to lose jobs, which sucks. Again,
it's always the same chestnut of like, oh, we just shut down the studio. I mean, they were unionizing, but that's not the reason they shut it down. It's like, what reason was there?
Yeah, will the CWA be able to make up as big enough stink as we've seen the IWGB be able to do with Rockstar, and kind of gain some notoriety and some press from that, and be able to get some kind of decisions made there? We'll have to see in the next coming week here what happens with that. But yeah, that's kind of about it for the episode here today. There is a few things. So it's like Stranger Life is Strange is going to have an announcement for a new game tomorrow, today, whenever you're listening to this. So are you still excited when they announce a new Life is Strange game, or are you kind of like, I don't care now?
I don't care. That kind of happened after the second one, or after the first one, because I think that's like they should have stopped it at one. They just keep
and this is with Max coming back.
Yeah, but that's not enough for me. Like, I think the first game is a very specialized piece of entertainment, and the more they keep digging away at the well, the worse it gets.
They hit it big with True Colors, and then after that, it's kind of like, all right, it kind of dropped off again.
Right.
So, speaking of dropping off, in 2027, January, actually, almost a year from now, January 31st, 2027, you will no longer be able to play Amazon's MMO New World Aeternum, as it will get shut down. They go do the whole rigmarole of thanking the players and
they're giving people plenty of time.
Yeah, you are going to have plenty of time. Who knows if they're going to do one of those like hybrid offline mode things? I don't know. And also CM Punk is going to be the focus of the WWE 2K26 showcase mode.
That's funny.
So, hey, I think that's cool. He has a hell of a legacy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is like who else left in the.
What's funny is that they have to do a whole what if scenario because he had all that time that he left. So part of the scenarios is like what if matches.
It jumps from 2011 to 2020 or 2020.
Yeah. It's like, all right, here's all these matches he could have had with people that he didn't have because he wasn't around.
I imagine the game after that, it's going to be the R-Truth showcase.
That'd be funny if it was. Has AJ Styles had one yet? I feel like he definitely deserves to have one.
I don't think so. It's either
he's had more matches now in WWE than he ever had in TNA. So
right. It's either going to be R-Truth or The Miz.
Yeah. Really quick though, I because it kind of goes with the story that we just talked about with the New World Aeternum. Gogs, I forgot what he is. Like he's a major player over at GOG. He has some controlling interest. He talked about he's worried about what happens if the majority of the games, or if we have a lot of situations like what happened with the Crew 2, where people complain so much that you can't shut down the game because you have to be supporting it forever. And he says that, I think he's talking about more if lawmakers ever step in and say that you cannot shut down games, that it will cause problems for studios where they may end up shutting down because they then have to come up with capital that they don't have to continue to support these games that nobody's playing.
I don't necessarily see that because they're always like they just introduced like an offline option for the other Crew game.
Yeah,
like there are ways to get around it.
I think also it's like there's ways to get around it, but I also think again we're going to continue to see consolidation in the amount of these live service games that are happening. You're not going to be able to sustain 50 live service games.
Right.
So at some point, this pie is going to keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And you are only going to have Fortnite, Minecraft, the same 6 or 7 games, whatever. And that's it. You're not going to, eventually it's going to become so impenetrable. It's either going to die completely, right? Where people just get tired of those kind of games completely, or it's going to become, this is gaming now, because everything is so unaffordable that you won't be able to have 30 of these out here. And so it won't really matter because most of them won't exist anyway.
Right.
But I do think that you're right. I hope that it's more the latter of you have those options of people just, all right, let's figure out a way to make it where they can play it offline. Maybe you have to do an online check here and there or something, but we don't have to cover a huge amount of the cost to continue to keep that thing running, you know?
And with that being said, you have to go.
Yeah. Just to go ahead and end the show as we normally do here with our games that are coming out. Hungry Horrors comes out on PC in early access today. It's a cool little like survival horror sort of pixel art game. Nioh Memories in Orbit is like the first big Metroidvania of the year. It's also on Game Pass. Keith reviewed it for Outer Haven and other folks. It's getting some good reviews. So even waiting for that big Metroidvania game to hit, it is there for you today, tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this. Blightstone is a cool strategy roguelike. So from Latino devs that has a cool like art style to it as well. Hope people check that out too. You got Lort, which is a weird ass like 1 to 8 player like action RPG that's just on its own. It's definitely weird. Dynasty Warriors comes to Switch too. That Arknights Enfield finally releases on the 22nd. That thing is going to be another one of those Genshin Impacts. I can already tell you. Pretty much. No Rush for the Wicked finally gets out of early access on the same day. Final Fantasy VII Remake comes to Xbox and Switch too. The integrate version, obviously. The Cult of the Lamb expansion, the Woolhaven thing, also comes out on the 22nd. The Blade Song, the game where you essentially learn how to be a blacksmith, also comes out that same day. And yeah, there's I also mentioned that Escape from Ever After game that I'm going to be playing. It's essentially it's like a fantasy game where you're going against a corporation, and it's based off of like Paper Mario. It looks really cool. I can't wait to play it. I'm excited for that. And also the weird Resident Evil ripoff, Ebola Village, comes out the same day. I don't know how that did not get taken out the store yet, but it's there and it's going to come out, and I guess you can play it. Whatever. So, and then High Guard will be out by the time we do the podcast again. So
everyone's game of the year.
We'll get to talk about the first impressions people have of High Guard on the next episode of the show. We'll also get to talk about the Xbox Developer Direct that we'll be having on Thursday. We'll see what they showcase of Fable, Beast of Reincarnation, Forza Horizon 6, and whatever the special fourth game is, and if there's any other surprises. So we got all that coming up this week. So until then, see you later, everybody.
Later.
Bye.